This time we're looking at the Romulan Drone ship from Wave 11. And we'll get right in and take a look. Kind of an annoying thing right off the bat. Of all the ships I bought, I've only happened to me in 2 of them, but my dial came with 2 male pegs. So unfortunately I couldn't put it together. Hoping to come across one of the guys down at the shop that happened to get 2 females in a set. Has an extra. If not, WizKids is pretty good about replacing the things. Just gotta wait for them. So that said, take a look at the Romulan drone ship dial. You can see my little temporary fix for now. Does the trick. Pretty maneuverable ship. Very slow. I think a 3 is the top. Has that 2 come about maneuver, which is white, which is extremely good. Other than that, pretty interesting dial. I think there's even a 3 come about in there too as I'm talking about it. Yep, there's a 3 come about in there as well. There you can see there our Romulan drone ship. 1s, 2s, and 3s. It's got everything but the 1 tight turns and a 1 come about basically. Pretty maneuverable. It's a small ship, not very speedy, but definitely agile. And then we have our prototype 01. It's the named version. It's unique. Romulan faction. 3s across the board. 3 attack, 3 agility, 3 hull, 3 shield. You have 3 tech slots and a weapon slot for 24 points. We have evasive, target lock, and scan. And the ability is during the end phase of each round, repair 1 shield or 1 damage to your shield or hull. Interesting ability. Nice to have that as a default thing. You basically get a free repair each round. Surprised the board ships didn't get that, to be honest. And this ship may only be assigned Gareb, Romulan drone pilot, as its commander, which is kind of interesting limitation to it. Then we have our generic ship here, the Romulan drone ship. 3s down, you lose 1 shield. You lose 1 tech slot for 22 points. And this still has the same restriction that you can only have Gareb or the Romulan drone pilot as its captain. Interestingly enough, because he was featured in the episode that this ship is from of Enterprise, we have Captain Valdor. But because of the restrictions, he can't actually captain the ship that comes in this expansion. But he gives us another option for Valdor for our other Romulan ships. He's a captain skill of 6 with 1 elite talent, 4 points. And he adds a tech slot to your upgrade bar. And when attacking, you may discard one of your tech upgrades to gain +1 attack die. Not quite as good as the +1 attack die for being on a fire arc Valdor. But I could see him being used on the actual Valdor ships to give it that tech slot. A lot of people tend to choose the Deredex over the Valdor just for the tech slot so they could bring a mine or whatnot. And with him being able to put those on the Valdors themselves is a nice addition. As for the other captains that can actually be used on this ship, we have Gareb. His captain skill is a question mark, and his price is a question mark. That's all explained here in this text. At the start of the game, after setup, you can place a captain under this card so that the skill number is visible. This is the captain skill of this card. The cost of this card is equal to that captain's card minus 3 points to a minimum of 0. He can field 1 elite talent for each elite talent icon on the captain's card. And this card cannot be affected by anything that affects captain cards and may only be purchased for the Romulan drone ship. Kind of an interesting thing. You're basically going to pay for whatever captain you want, and you're going to put them underneath like this. And you're going to gain that captain skill of 6. You're going to gain that elite talent slot, and you're going to pay 1 point for them in this situation. It's whatever this is, minus 3. There's no cross-faction penalty or any of that kind of stuff. You can put Picard on here, put Kirk on here, get the 2 slots. Some interesting combos you can do with him. And the fact that he's immune to captain damage because he's actually not piloting the ship, he's doing it by remote, is a very cool thing. The only thing you're sacrificing is any of the captain's text you don't get, just their stats. And last we have a Romulan drone pilot. Captain skill of 1, 0 points. Again, with the other one, he cannot be affected by anything that affects captains because he's actually not there piloting the ship. It's done by remote control. And he can only captain a drone ship. Our elite talent for this pack is Core Overload. Costs 5 points. As an action, you can discard this coin to perform the action. At the end of the activation phase, after all ships are moved, destroy your ship and roll 3 attack dice for every ship within range 1 of your ship. Suffers normal damage for each hit or critical. Cheat Death cannot be used in conjunction, so you can't reuse it like you could with I Stab at Thee. But definitely an interesting thing if you're going to die anyway. 5 points for a one-use weapon I'm not too keen on. The fact that you get 3 attack dice versus everything in blast range 1 and they don't get to roll anything in return definitely makes it useful. But 5 points still seems a bit steep to me. For weapon upgrades, we have triphasic emitters. It's 4 points. At the start of the game, after setup, you choose a non-Borg weapon upgrade. Place it face down beneath this card. The chosen upgrade must have a cost of 5 SP or less. As an attack, you can discard this card to perform the attack. You flip the card beneath this, perform the attack listed on that card. After the attack is complete, you discard that card as well. It's basically a one-use, lets you use any weapon aside from Borg ones for 4 points at the cost of being a one-use discard. So interesting. There's a lot of options that fall into that category, so it's kind of a tactical thing because your opponent's not going to know what it is either. It's going to be face down until you decide to use it. So you have that surprise factor in there, and very interesting option. This ship comes loaded with tech upgrades. First one we have is reinforced hull plating. It's 3 points. When defending during the compare results step, you can disable this card to cancel a hit or a crit. Next we have backup sequencer. It's 2 points. At any time you can disable this card to activate all of your shield tokens by flipping them back to their blue sides. It can only be purchased for a Romulan drone ship. If you happen to lower your shields for a mission or like to beam a party or whatever, there's different reasons to lower it throughout the game. There's weapons that drop shields, like the Klingon Negvar's ability. Let's let you pop them back up. And it's a disable, so it's reusable, which is nice. Next we have the Propulsion Matrix for 5 points. During the activation phase, if you reveal a 3 forward maneuver, you may use a 4 or 5 straight instead. If you do, place an auxiliary power token beside your ship. Basically, it gives this slower ship a little bit of a burst of speed. Like I was saying when we were looking at the dial, it is kind of slow with 3 topping out of the 3. This gives you up to a 5, but at the cost of an auxiliary power. You may need it to get into battle, you may need it to get out of battle, so it's kind of situational, but it does have its uses. Next we have multi-spectral emitters for 3 points. When defending during the roll defense dice step, you may disable this card and all your remaining shields to roll +2 defense. This upgrade may only be purchased for the drone ship. This works good in conjunction with the other one there. You use this to disable all your shields, get the +2 defense dice, then you disable the other one, bring your shields back online. A little expensive to run a combo like that, but it is possible and they do work together well. Next up we have maneuvering thrusters. They're 3 points. When defending during the declare target step, you may disable this card to place a evasive token next to your ship, even if there's one already there. Costs 5 extra points if purchased for anything other than the drone ship. Definitely another useful one. Being that it's reusable makes it kind of worth it. At least on this ship. I don't think I'd pay the bonus cost to put it on something else, but it has its uses. So this pack, you're getting your auxiliary power and critical token. You have a evasive and scan token, 3 shield tokens, target lock V1 this time, 2 disable tokens for your various upgrades. As with all our retail ships, you have a mission. This time it's destabilize the sector. It's based on the episode where this ship appeared. You're trying to get the different factions to attack each other. There's various special rules. and the wind objectives. For the ship itself, is another one that's just an amazing amount of detail. I'm kind of wary of these little spikes on the bottom. Getting it on and off the base is kind of tight sometimes, and I'm afraid I'm going to break one. But again, there's such an amazing amount of detail on these. It's really nice to see these ones they're building specifically for attack wing instead of reusing old HeroClick models. A little bland on the paint, but definitely a wash or whatnot to bring out the detail would be nice. But the detail is definitely there on these new models. Here we have our base for the prototype 01. It's got a front and rear 90-degree firing arc. Same goes for the generic Romulan Drone ship. All in all, it's a really cool expansion, a nice tech-themed ship for the Romulans. Veldor being in here and only being able to be used if you use him as the token that Gareb copies is kind of weird, but nice to have another option for him. For Romulan players, definitely a lot here. A lot of non-unique cards, but at the same time, some of them are restricted specifically to the ship, and the ship is restricted specifically to these two captains. Although you can use multiples of the one guy, so that doesn't really affect much. Overall, it's a really good expansion for the Romulans. A lot of cool upgrades in here. Possibly worth getting 2 of them. There's a lot of ones that aren't unique. A lot of cool tech upgrades in here. You get the Veldor captain who gives the tech upgrade to other ships. So definitely a lot of utility in there for the Romulans, and a good all-around ship. That's it for this one, and I will see you in the next video.